Wow, there's just something so calming about the sound of the ocean and the cobblestones rolling in and off the shore as the waves roll in.
Definitely. That is very calming.
It is.
Yep.
Hi, I'm Karen.
I'm
Welcome
Bob.
to Foto Friday.
How you doing?
This week we have a couple of adventures that we would like to share with you. The first one is Sheringham Point Lighthouse. We went to that it is located in Shirley BC.
Sheringham Point Lighthouse. This place, unfortunately, was born in tragedy. During the late 19th century to the 20th century, the south coast of Vancouver Island saw far too many shipwrecks. It's documented that over 240 wrecks were in that strait. The area gained a reputation for its poor weather, strong currents, and treacherous coastline, and became known as the Graveyard of the Pacific. So I selected one story of one of the crashes along the shoreline there, and it's actually one of the first documented ones, and it starts February 26, 1862. The Anna Bernard, bound from San Francisco to Souk for a load of lumber, approached Vancouver Island. Now, Captain Olmsted and his 7-man crew could hear the pounding of the surf, but unfortunately, through the thick fog, prevented them from knowing just how close they actually were to the shoreline. Unfortunately, their luck did run out, and when their ship struck the rocks a few miles from Sheringham Point, their ship began to break up. The captain and 2 of the crewmen launched lifeboats, but unfortunately, as soon as the lifeboats entered the water, they were overturned by the high surf. Now, Captain Olmsted managed to swim to shore, but unfortunately, 2 of the men, a cook and a seaman, they both drowned. Now, the 5 remaining men on board the ship, they actually climbed the mast and stayed there until the next morning when the tide had finally gone out, at which point they were actually able to get down and wade into shore. But I think what I found interesting, unlike so many other shipwrecks along the west coast of the Vancouver Island, the story of the Anna Bernard is known because the members of its crew survived, and they were assisted by First Nations people and taken back to Victoria, where they were able to tell their story. So the north entrance of the Straits of the Juan de Fuca in 1891 was several nautical miles of unnerving darkness for ships entering the straits from the north. This dark void disappeared in 1912 with the establishment of the Sheringham Point Lighthouse. And Sheringham Point Lighthouse was first illuminated by the lightkeeper, Mr. Arden, in September 30th, 1912. Now, the actual lighthouse itself is built as a hexagonal structure, and it's 41 feet high with 6 pilasters like buttresses. Now, it's kind of like the bottom of the CN Tower. It was made with reinforced concrete and placed on a concrete foundation that rises up approximately 1 meter above grade. The lantern on the top of the structure is almost 23 feet high, made of cast iron, and sits on a platform that's 18 feet in diameter. The glazing consists of 36 panes arranged in 3 rows of 12, and the height of the Sheringham Point Lighthouse, it's almost visible 25 kilometers out to sea.
That's incredible.
It is.
That's a great story, a great history on the lighthouse. That's just amazing that you could get all that information.
Yeah, there's a lot of information available online, and the actual Sheringham Point Lighthouse Preservation Society, they're actually having a photo contest right now.
Oh, neat.
So if there's any photographers that are interested in entering, we've put a link down at the bottom that you can actually get more information on. We also have a really cool link down there with respect to BC shipwrecks in Victoria that you can visit.
Oh, that's great. Thank you. That's great information. So what was exciting for me on this outing is it was my first official hike out using my new camera that I purchased, which is a Sony RX10 Mark IV. It's much lighter than my Canon 5D Mark II. It is a bridge camera, which means it has a built-in lens that is 24 by 600 millimeters. Definitely gives me a lot more flexibility. Again, it's a lot lighter than my other camera. I'm capable of using it as a wide angle for landscape photography, which I've done here in this photograph. That's probably about 200 millimeters out. So I have another 400 that I could go with. So it gives me a nice wide angle still, but it also allows me the flexibility to zoom in on mountain tops or the top of the lighthouse here that you can see or on the door. That was at the 600 millimeters out. So the capability of zooming, I'm thoroughly enjoying because I'm not used to that.
Definitely.
With my 5D, I would attach my zoom lens, which was 70 by 200 millimeter. So it gives me another 400 millimeters out, which is a lot of fun.
And not only that, it's the whole weight thing too. Because I mean, normally you'd be carrying your 5D Mark II,
right?
Your 70 by 200,
yep.
Your 17 by 40,
yep.
And then you'd have all your little accoutrements and stuff in your bag. That was a lot of weight to carry.
Yeah, and the camera itself is a lot lighter than my 5D. It's amazing.
Yeah, definitely.
And the pictures, as you can see, these are no edits. They're extremely clear. You get really crystal clear images. It's also a mirrorless camera too, which I think is a big plus.
And what's really unusual, I guess, the sensor itself is a 20 megapixel sensor.
Yes.
And your actual 5D Mark II was a 24
yes,
megapixel.
That's
but
correct.
Just the technology difference between the 2 years difference. I mean, the way that this sensor picks up and carries information, it's just incredible. The clarity and the color is just, it's incredible.
It is nice. And it's also fast.
Now, have you done any editing with any of these?
No.
This is straight out of camera.
This is straight out of camera.
The
There's no cropping in.
Yeah.
That's as is as you see it. So the other thing is the advantage of this that I found out through Brian, a fellow photographer that we've met here, who's been teaching me a little bit about it. He just finished purchasing one as well. It's also very good for wildlife and bird photography because it's very fast. It has the capability of getting 24 frames per second, and what that means is you can track a bird in flight. I can lock onto the bird with my focus area, and as the bird is in flight, I can be clicking my shutter and I can get 24 frames per second and get that bird in flight.
Yeah, that's something that you couldn't do with the 5D. I think we're pushing 3.6 frames per second with the 5D
so the difference
Mark II.
to 24.
Big difference.
Very big difference.
Very big difference.
And this was also using the zoom feature of my camera, just zooming in a little bit on the shoreline that, again, I wouldn't have been able to get in quite as close with. Okay. But it's the clarity too with this camera. I'm quite enjoying it, and I still got a lot to learn. So now with the lighthouse, we've got here a little bit of a video that we wanted to show you. It's a drone video, and the reason why I'm explaining this is when we first got to Sheringham Point Lighthouse, we thought, oh, we've lucked out. It's not windy.
Oh, yeah,
it was sunny. It was warm. It was beautiful where we parked the Jeep.
Yep.
And then as we walked down the trail to get down to the lighthouse, it wasn't until we got past the trees is where it started to get really windy.
Yeah, I mean, for anyone who's walked down to the lighthouse before, you actually go through a gate and then you walk down a steep hill. And it's as you go around that corner and come out into the opening, the amount of wind that was coming up from the shoreline was incredible. I was kind of leery as to whether or not I actually wanted to send the drone out because I was thinking, you know what? I do not want to lose this puppy into the rocks. So I did a couple of test runs. I took her out just a bit, brought her back in, and I really took a chance, to be honest with you. I mean, I ended up taking it out. This is actually one of the test runs that I did with it, just to see how it felt. And when it got out past the tree line, you could really see the propellers. The whole body, it was shaking back and forth. And the Phantoms they're a good heavy drone. So the amount of wind was coming up that shoreline, it was pretty drastic. Now, I got a little bit ballsy here, and I actually brought it out a little bit closer towards the lighthouse. but that's as far as I went. I turned her around and I brought her back.
That's right too.
Yeah.
It was fun though. It
Yeah.
was at least you got it out there. You've been
Yeah.
dying to use the drone there, and
Yeah.
every time we've gone it's been windy. We
Windy.
just thought, as when we parked, we lucked out, but
C'est la vie.
you got it out a little bit, so
Yeah.
that's good. And then from there, we, as you can see, we went to Sandcut Beach, which is probably about a 10-minute drive from the
Sheringham Lighthouse. Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Now, the beach is known for its waterfall there. It is really very pretty. We've seen so many photographs of this waterfall.
And so many people have told us, oh, yeah, you got to go
You
there
gotta
and see
go.
it. It's really beautiful.
And it is.
was.
It is.
Yeah.
Now, we're standing here on the beach. Now, the actual water that feeds that waterfall is actually from two creeks that join
right.
together, McManus Creek and Rock Bottom Creek, that join one another just under the bridge over Highway 14. Is that
That's
right?
Yes.
So it joins there and then feeds out over into the waterfalls. Now, depending on how high the water is in the creek or how much rainfall they've had, will determine the size of the waterfall and the number of them. Because when it has a high level of water in the creek, that little jet out that you see there, there'll be a third waterfall spilling out over that.
Which is that would be just amazing to see.
Absolutely. Now, this beach, it's a popular beach with Victoria and Souk residents, people who live in Souk. The beach itself is about 3.5 kilometers of cobbled beach, and it is part of the Jordan River Regional Park. The trail is a coastal hemlock and cedar forest trail that leads you to Sandcut Beach.
Yep.
And at the south end is where you'll see the waterfall that you see here, and it's also very well known for the Olympic Peninsula beautiful views.
Definitely.
And we lucked out that day. It was a bright day. It was clear, because there's some days that you'll go in the various beaches or along Dallas Road where the Olympic Mountains or Mount Baker are not in clear view. But this day that we went to Sandcut,
It was amazing.
yeah, the Olympic Peninsula was in plain view.
Now, I also want to mention that a lot of the footage that you're seeing here was actually shot by a friend of ours, Brian
Rundle. Yes.
And the thing here is he did an amazing job.
He
He's
did.
actually using, like Karen said, the same camera. And it's just outstanding. The pics, the video.
The slow motion
slow
video.
motion video. Yeah, so thanks a lot, Brian.
Yes, thank you very much. Most definitely. That's something that I definitely still want to learn with my camera too. As I had mentioned, I'm still learning the photography side of it, but I now have the video side to learn as well.
Yeah.
And this was the Olympic Peninsula in view that you see here, the mountains. With my camera, that was full zoom out of 600 millimeters, and without having that, I wouldn't have been able to capture those mountaintops
There's
like
70 by
that.
200, I know you wouldn't be able to pull that in, and the clarity that you have there too is just, it's amazing.
It is. And again here, there's another slow motion video that Brian did take for us of the waterfall.
That was amazing.
Really, really nice feature, really cool feature. And as a result of me standing there, that's the picture of the actual waterfall. So that gives you an idea of the camera. It's pretty clear and
Very, very good quality images.
yeah.
Yeah. Most
So
definitely.
thanks, Brian, for introducing the camera to me.
Yes, thanks, Brian. We're really happy with that one, let me tell you. Yep. But that brings us to the end of our Foto Friday. And I just quickly want to say, back in 1989, when Karen and I originally got into the art industry, we opened our first gallery up in Markham. Basically just wanted to be able to provide artwork and picture framing for corporate accounts and people in the area. But our real goal was being able to help other artists get their artwork out there and get it seen. And recently now, with things being the way that they are, we thought it would be nice to maybe get back into that again. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be providing an opportunity for photographers who are interested in maybe showing their artwork an opportunity to display their artwork here on Foto Fridays. So if you are interested in doing something like that, we're going to have an email link that's going to be a part of the rest of the links underneath here. And send us an email and let us know your thoughts if you would be interested in providing a couple of images, and we'd be more than happy to put them up for you so you can get your artwork out there and get it seen. At a later date, once we get back to Ontario, we may actually be adding an extra feature where we're going to be placing artwork or photography work up on our website for a variety of different photographers. And that's more than likely just going to be maybe 5 photographers at a time, and just an opportunity to take advantage of getting their artwork out there and getting it seen. Like, I know there's a lot of photographers out there that don't really want to be bothered with the whole rigmarole of
creating their own website and the upkeep of it and all the work that's involved in it. So we would like to be able to showcase their work, as part of our online gallery.
Exactly. So if you are interested, there is a link down there that you can use, and please feel free to get in contact with us. I'm sure if you have any questions, please ask us, and we'll be more than happy to get in touch with you once we actually do the whole website side of the gallery. But in the interim, if you are interested in displaying your artwork on our Foto Fridays, please get in contact with us. So with that said, I would most definitely like to introduce at this time the gentleman who's really been helping us out here while we've been in Victoria for the last couple of weeks. Really nice gentleman by the name of Brian Rundle.
Yep.
His work is phenomenal. The guy is an excellent person to begin with, but an outstanding photographer.
Definitely.
So again, thank you very much for your assistance, Brian, and please enjoy the photography of Brian Rundle.
Yes, thank you, Brian, and here we go.